up, everybody? Welcome to the Pound for Pound Show. My name is Philip, and joining me as always are Ben and Russ. How you gentlemen doing?
Good.
Very
Phil.
good.
How are you doing is the real question.
I am doing absolutely tremendous as always. So
That's
just
great
came
to
off
hear.
a massive wrestling weekend, and we got some big fights coming up. So we're here to talk about them today. So let's tell the fans a little bit about 273. I had to check the number real quick. So we got 2 title fights and then a super hype train fight. So let's break it down for the people. So in the main event, we have got Ben's favorite fighter of all time, Alex Volkanovski, fighting the Korean Zombie, who is a sub opponent, I believe. So, but he's had a little bit of time to get ready for this fight. So Ben, I'll throw it over to you and then toss it over to Russ. What do you guys think about this fight?
Yeah. So a lot of people are picking Volk, understandably so. He's had 2 great performances against Max. He had a great performance against Ortega, where he got out of that crazy choke. Volk's been impressive. We can't deny that.
It hurts you to say that, Tony.
It does. He is unbearable as a personality. Every day he says something that I just want to smack him across the face. Like he said a quote the other day. I seen an interview with a quote. It said, "I became champion by rattling people's brains." Whose brain did you rattle? You didn't. You're not a vicious striker. You know, that guy just bothers the hell out of me. But whatever. He's very impressive. He's a great point fighter. And I think Zombie's got some power. And I don't know. I see Zombie's just a different kind of animal. I think he's going to starch him in within 3 rounds. That's how I see it going. But we could see a big upset, and I'm going with Zombie inside 3. What do you guys think?
I think that you don't really believe that, because if you did, you'd bet me on it. Like, I don't think there's a
Not
chance.
you. I got money.
Believe
I got money online. The line's good. So
the line is good. If you think, like, you know, he's really going to win, though, you would really bet that straight up. There's not a chance you really believe he's going to starch Volkanovski.
I do.
I strongly
I'll bet you straight up.
Really?
I'll bet you 20 straight up.
Any amount. You
20.
name it.
20.
But
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
I feel like
he's a plus 500.
yeah, that's robbery, because Volkanovski is just too tough and too bad of a matchup. I think Volk has, many ways to win, and, maybe one way to lose. Like if he gets submitted early, just Zombie has good submissions, and he could catch him maybe while they're both dry. But even then, I guess he would have to put him unconscious, because Volk has proved he will not tap. Like Ortega had him in that guillotine, like it looked like he was done for sure, and he got out. So
it's crazy.
He will not tap. I don't think I've ever seen him finished. So I don't know that he can be knocked out either. Max and Ortega both hit him with big shots. He's tough as hell. I think Volk finishes him probably in the 3rd or 4th round with some violent ground and pound. I just think he's a much better fighter, and he's going to be bigger and stronger. He's maybe not taller, but like Volk looks like he's like 180 when he's in there fighting. He's just such a thick dude.
Also, another thing I want to add is Zombie's. I know we all hate Cejudo. I mean, everyone does on Earth, but Zombie's been training with Cejudo, and I've seen some of the footage. They're training some wrestling, takedown defense, and stuff like that. That gives me hopes. But I mean, I'm just saying.
No, it's good to have differing opinions. It's much better than everybody agreeing on the same thing. I like it, but I really think you're off on that. I think Volk is going to manhandle him.
That might be my heart talking, but I think Zombie sparks him in 3. But
it is.
Whatever.
It is your heart.
Well, it's certainly relatable. And it's not even like I don't dislike Volkanovski, but I just, I don't know. Like, I just think I enjoy watching his fights for the most part. So, and there's so many other annoying people in MMA that he doesn't even scratch the surface of being annoying to me. When you've got all these other D-bags out there.
He's like low key, super annoying.
Well, yeah, as long as he's low key, keep it low key, and he probably won't bother me, So I've got no issues with Volkanovski, and I think he's got incredibly high fight IQ, which is where I think it's going to be hard for Zombie, because I was going to say, yeah, Zombie's proven he's beat some really good guys, and he can finish you on the feet or on the ground. But he said Volkanovski, just like I said, is a really smart fighter. So I think he's going to win. I think it's going to be a decision. Because I think Zombie has proven to be very tough as well. And Volkanovski has, to Ben's point, doesn't rattle skulls. He just just beats on people, and he accumulates damage. I think he'll probably beat him up a little bit, and so he'll probably just take a decision. So that's what I think.
All three with different picks on that. I like it.
Hard to bet against Volkanovski at this point, no matter how much I love Zombie. And I do. Like, nothing. I would love it if he hit some crazy flying kick or something and just caught him off guard. That would be awesome, because I've loved him for so long. I'd love to see him to get the belt, before he's done. That would be awesome. So, but to be clear, it's not because I hate Volkanovski. It's because I like the Korean Zombie. So, in the other title fight, speaking of hateable people, see, I don't have time to hate Volkanovski because people like Aljamain Sterling are in the world. So I have to reserve a lot of time and energy to hate that guy. So that one's interesting too, because, him and Jan in the rematch, and we could briefly discuss this before the show started without you, Russ, because you were having some technical difficulties, but have you seen the line on this fight?
Yes.
It is insane to me.
I think it's pretty off.
Yeah, it's way off. It's again, I don't know.
I think it's off on all three.
Yeah, if people just don't remember the first fight, or if people just hate Aljo that bad that they're just blinded by rage, but the fact that he is like a champion and he's currently plus 380 and Jan is minus 500. That is madness.
Yeah.
So, but I'll throw it over to you, Russ. You can start, and then throw it over to Ben to kind of get some thoughts on how you see this one going down.
Well, I agree with you. Like you touched on there, I think the line is off. I think it's a closer fight than what that line says, but I do think Jan is going to get it done. I think he'll come on in the third or fourth round and finish him. I think he'll get a stoppage. He's got a lot of rage built up over how that first fight went down with the selling of the knee, and then how Aljo has handled it since then, celebrating with his belt all over the place, calling himself the real champion. I think Jan's just a better fighter, but I wouldn't sleep on Aljo. He's very slick. He proved that with that submission on Sandhagen, which nobody has been able to do. So, he's got great submissions, and he's just got kind of a very unique stand-up style too, that it could present problems if he makes some adjustments, from the first fight. It's a close fight. I don't think, either one of them is going to starch each other, but I could see Jan, just his cardio being a little better and eventually getting it done late.
Yep. I'm with you on that, Russ. I think Jan is a kind of a slow starter, isn't he? And he kind of paces himself. Very tactical, very smart guy. He comes on late, and I think he's going to just outstrike him on the feet. I think he's got pretty good takedown defense. And Aljo's only way of winning is if he gets this to the ground. And I just don't see it happening. So, and I'm going to take Jan by decision. I think the same as you, Russ. What do you think, Phil?
Before I give my pick, do you guys put any stock or anything into the fact that Jan is going to have a substitute corner for this fight?
No, I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah, I guess it's the big thing. Yeah, his entire corner cannot travel because they are in caught up in this conflict and they can't travel here. So Jan has was basically asking other fighters to corner him for the fight. Yeah, so
that is interesting.
Yeah, so because there was because it was crazy, because I first heard about it because they said possibly even Cejudo could corner him, which was crazy because those two were talking about fighting each other. So, but yeah, so it is undetermined who is going to be in his corner for this fight. So it could be, the game plan could be off. So, but if he gets triple C, that's an upgrade over anybody. So, it's all but a lock if he gets him in his corner.
Please.
So triple C, the trainer of champions. So,
okay.
So, but no,
I'll be all right.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's so close to the fight, other than, Jan doesn't seem like a guy who makes a ton of in-fight adjustments. I think he kind of imposes his will and his game plan. And last time his corner cost him the fight. So, now that I think about it, so, he might be better off without them. But no, I agree. I just think that Jan has more ways to win. I think he's borderline impossible to stop. So unless Aljo catches him in some crazy choke or something like that. Like, I just think Jan's accumulation of damage is going to add up, and he's going to stop him this time. I think maybe even earlier. Like, I'm thinking a second or third round stoppage in this one.
Mhm.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Cardio is just crazy, man.
No matter who's in Jan's corner, he's not topping Aljo's corner anyway. You know what I mean? With Longo and Sarah, like, you can't beat it. So
It's news to me.
You cannot beat that corner. Don't argue.
It is a great corner. I don't know. I was watching the fights last week. Mark Coleman, best corner man in history.
He's a madman.
Oh my God. The whole fight, you see him screaming, like losing his mind in the corner. It was so great.
That dude rules.
And I remember a quick story for the fans, all of them.
Yeah.
Is remember when we saw them live in Columbus, and Wes Sims was fighting, who was in Coleman's part of his team, and the guy fighting got disqualified, and Coleman came into the ring and had a full-blown meltdown. Chucked a water bottle across the arena. It was
He's a passionate guy.
Oh my God, he is the best. Love Mark Coleman.
He's great,
that's
man. Legend of the sport.
Love that guy. Love him. So, but we're getting off topic here. We all agree Jan is going to win. Slightly different on how he's going to win, but we all agree that he's the guy, and we all agree that Aljo can suck it.
Yes.
So, and then another one that's obviously maybe the one that has the most interest on the fight is the hype machine that is Khamzat Chimaev is fighting Gilbert Burns, which is by far his toughest opponent to date. Again, another fight that has a crazy line as well, especially for Gilbert Burns being a title contender, and he's also plus 380 currently. Ben, how do you see this one going down?
I think it's a big step up for Khamzat. He's fought 4 times in the UFC, and his toughest opponent was Li Jingliang. Nothing against Li Jingliang. He's not Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns has some great experience against some really good fighters. He fought Usman, and he actually he was going toe to toe with Usman. Caught him once or twice.
He was winning.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a huge step up for Khamzat. Don't get me wrong. I think Khamzat's a really good fighter, but I honestly think Burns pulls off the upset here. I think he's going to wrestle with Khamzat, and I don't know. I think he's going to wrestle. I think he's going to grind on him, and I think he's going to wrestle him. I think he's going to pressure the hell out of him, and that's what I think. I'm taking Burns here.
That's a wild pick to me, man. You're picking some crazy things. Like,
I love it.
You're picking somebody to out wrestle a Dagestani lunatic with the chin beard. Like, that's the most insane pick to me.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I do agree. It's a huge step up in competition. Gilbert Burns, amazing, and he's highly underrated for for Khamzat to be minus 500 against Gilbert Burns.
That
like,
is
even
so crazy.
Usman wasn't that much of a favorite against him. So that's crazy. Insane. But I'm hoping for this fight to go like to the second or the third round. I want to see Khamzat, like, taken in deep waters and maybe even like get caught once or twice. I just don't want him to just walk through him. I want to see like a little more of him, because the next fight, if he wins this, is going to be a title fight. So
yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you, Russ, but I think Khamzat, I'm going to say he doesn't have a great gas tank. I'm going to predict that. I'm just going to predict that.
Yeah, I don't know, because I haven't seen it, but so far he's shown no weaknesses. So I'm for sure picking Khamzat to get it done, and I think he'll finish him. Even though I like Gilbert Burns, Khamzat has looked like an absolute animal so far, so I cannot go against him. I mean, he's shown no weaknesses, and he's destroying dudes. Like, he's 10-0 in his career with 10 finishes.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I'm not counting Gilbert out, because they're all human, and anything can happen in MMA, but betting on it, Khamzat would be the bet.
What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, I tend to agree. And, it's again, like it's hard to put that much stock in a guy who you haven't seen enough of yet. And especially against like top competition. And I don't know, maybe it's hard to say because he hasn't even had that many fights, but I don't know if Gilbert is in that position where a lot of guys, once they lose a title fight, they almost are like uninspired. And I don't know, Gilbert just doesn't seem to be the same Gilbert Burns to me that maybe he was when he got a title shot. So I don't know. I almost think it's one of those situations where UFC knows what they're doing when they give like a no they can justify giving Hamzat a title shot if he beats a formal title contender.
Yeah.
I don't know it's the same Gilbert Burns that fought Kamaru Usman.
He got
So
that
this
win
fight-
over Wonder Boy.
He did get that win over Wonder Boy.
Wasn't that impressive?
Yeah,
But-
exactly. Like he
Got
did, but like I actually forgot about it till I looked it up. That's how impressive it
Same.
was. So, you know, and that's the thing is like, so I was like, you know, I don't know if that guy is the one to go out and stop Chimaev, because Chimaev does look great for what it's worth. You know, I know we haven't seen him against that competition, but it might be more about what Gilbert Burns we get. But I think Hamzat is going to get in there and he's just going to impose his will. And I think Burns will put up much more resistance, but eventually it's just going to be too much for him. And I think Hamzat gets it done. I think we will probably see it get into the second round, but that's where I see it ending up, round 2.
Interesting. Wow. Dang.
I think this is the last booked 3-round fight we see of Hamzat. I think it's all 5-round fights from here, whether it be main events or title fights.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's going to be ascending from here on
The
out.
rocket's launching after this fight, you're saying?
Oh yeah. You know, the dude has he has charisma and he has finishing ability like very few. So,
And now he's besties with Till. So there's that too.
hey, you know, and you know, every story you hear, like that's I think what the line is a lot based on is like the mythological stories coming out of his training camps and stuff, just how he just dominates everybody, like weight classes above him. And just, they say like, he's just unstoppable. So we'll see.
We'll see, right?
It's funny you mentioned that because that's one of the things, and I can't remember who said it, but I was listening to some MMA fighter, and he was talking about in these close fights, you know who knows? It's the fighters, because they've seen them in the gyms, they've seen them and they know. And it reminding me of like the Usman Burns fight. Everyone's like, the guys from that camp knew exactly what was going to happen in that fight when it happened. Like everyone else is like, who's going to win? And everyone's like, oh, we know who's going to win, you know, because we've seen it. We know what's going to happen. And that seems to be like exactly to your point, like the people that are on the inside are like, this guy is an animal.
I tend to believe it, especially on these like Dagestani dudes. You know what I mean? We heard it about Habib and then he went in there and took care of business every time. We heard about Makhachev and now we're hearing it about Hamzat. So it's like, you know, until proven otherwise, you got to believe these dudes are just on another level.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
You're just it's all about the beard.
I mean,
100%.
yeah.
100%.
I'm actually surprised Russ doesn't have that beard yet.
I know. Just shave that top bit.
Yep.
Yeah, just get that beard going on. Just start wrestling people at work. Just going.
We should all do it next episode. We should all have the Dagestani beard.
Just non-tippers get taken down and just ground and pounded.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Dagestani dealer.
That's a good gimmick right there. That's a good gimmick. So, well, those are the 3 main fights. Was there anything else you guys wanted to touch on, or we'll turn it over to Russ and tell the people how to make some money?
Let's do it.
Yeah, that's the exciting part of the card. So let's just move into the best bets. So I got 3 here. It was tough finding 3 because these lines are so wacky and like a lot of the other fights are just not super interesting. But I'm taking Mackenzie Dern minus 125 against Tisha Torres. That was one of the close lines on the card. And I think Mackenzie's just younger and a little bit more upside with her. I don't think Tisha Torres has too many big wins left in her career. That's what I'm hoping, at least. And then I'm taking Volk Zombie under 4.5 rounds. I think Volk is going to finish him. I know he gets tons of decisions, but I think he's just going to be too powerful for Zombie and eventually manhandle him on the ground and TKO him. And then I'm taking Hamzat and Burns to go over 1.5. That might be just wishful thinking, but I really want to see this fight extend a little bit and see what Hamzat can do in the later rounds. So over 1.5. And you know, I'm believing in Burns. Like he's a former title contender and he's looked very good in
he's
a
got
lot
some
of
experience,
fights. So
man.
yeah, he's a huge upgrade, you know, so over 1.5 seems reasonable. That's minus 130. And the Volk Zombie under 4.5 is plus 130. So
okay,
that's the 3 I've got.
All right, nice.
Going into this one. We'll see what happens.
So we'll get on out of here now that we've given people some previews. We've given people a way to make some money. if you're real risky, take some of Ben's picks. Ben went out there this week. He went on some limbs. He's going to be the smartest. He's going to look like a lunatic or the smartest man in the room next week.
Hey,
so
if my picks come in, man, you'll see me on a flight to Hawaii. I'm not even playing. I'm going on vacation, yo. If I get these picks come in,
there you
But
go.
If you hit one of them, I'll be happy.
oh, I know. Hey, if I hit 2, I'm just cashing out. F it.
Might be the way to go.
Yeah.
So, but with that, we bid everybody adieu. Enjoy the fights this week, and we will see you guys soon.
See ya.
Later.